Welcome back to Miss Waterman's art class. Today we will be discussing a brief overview of the history of early animation. Animation is an art form which appeared alongside the development of film. From 1911 to 1921, Winsor McCay, the father of animated cartoon, brought animation from a simple camera trick to a full-blown character animation. McCay animated his films almost entirely by himself. He took the time to make his films unique, artistic visions, sometimes spending more than a year to make a single 5-minute cartoon. Gertie the Dinosaur, McCay's landmark film, debuting in 1914, showed the world the true potential of the animated cartoon. Even before the debut of this film, animation houses were already beginning to spring up. Arguably the most successful and influential of these earlier studios was the John Bray Studio. Bray created the first successful cartoon series, Colonel Heza Lear's African Hunt, in 1914. The studio's most important contribution to the medium was the introduction of cells. This was the process of inking the animator's drawings onto a clear piece of celluloid and then photographing them in succession on a single painted background. The next milestone in the development of animation was the creation of Felix the Cat in 1918. Although the studio producer took all the credit for the character, Otto Messmer was the actual creator of Felix. Felix was the first cartoon character to exhibit such a degree of personality, such as Felix's brooding, since Gertie the Dinosaur. And since Felix was a studio character, it meant audiences could look forward to seeing him again and again. It was 10 years down the road that the Walt Disney Studio exploded onto the scene in 1928 with Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie. Without Disney's streamlined organization of talent and creative collaboration, the animated cartoon could never have advanced as rapidly or as beautifully as it has. Walt Disney's first important contribution to animation was to move his studio to Hollywood in 1923. The animation industry had previously been rooted in New York, but Los Angeles had become the center of live-action filmmaking. Another contribution was the move away from the rubber hose style of the silent era, dubbed this because of the way characters moved without regard to anatomy as if their limbs were rubber hoses. One of his first groundbreaking films was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937, which was the first full-length animated feature. Another was Pinocchio in 1940, which exhibited intricate levels of technical brilliance many animators feel has never been surpassed. Looney Tunes teamed up with Warner Brothers in 1930. The Warner Brothers artists broke from the Disney tradition that other studios had begun to mimic and created films with highly exaggerated slapstick comedy. In Porky's Duck Hunt and Porky in Wackland, the characters appear to be of naturalistic Disney school, but are constantly distorted beyond all rationality, defying every law of physics for comedic effect. Like Disney, the Warner Brothers studio turned the assembly-line art system to their advantage and collaborated their talents to take art to a higher level. This is best shown in the creation and development of Bugs Bunny. It took over 10 years and 30 films for Bugs' personality to coalesce into the suave and wily comic hero that he is today. It was when animation finally made the leap to television that the art truly began to suffer for the business's sake. The quality of writing was poor, and the animation itself was often so limited it barely qualified as animation at all. The production of TV animation didn't really hit its stride until the 60s, when most cartoon studios had closed down. The creators of Tom and Jerry dominated the market from the beginning and continued to do so through the 70s. It was well animated and cleverly written. Shows like Disney's DuckTales in '86 and Warner Brothers' Tiny Toon Adventures in '89 followed. Finally, in the 1990s, the artists in the television cartoon industry began to figure out how to work effectively with the limitations of the field. The debut of Warner Brothers' Batman, the animated series, in 1992 infused the series with a distinct visual style. Combined with the deep characterizations and strong stories, Batman was a first-rate cartoon. Coinciding with the television cartoon industry, the new generation of Disney artists began to breathe new life back into animation with films like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and The Little Mermaid. The new Pixar and Oriental Studios continue to raise the animation